Oh yeah, here we go. Let's warm it up a little bit. Simplify each expression. So we talked about the associative property. It doesn't matter the order you multiply or add, as long as it's just multiplication or just adding. When you mix them, you got to use your order of operations. So here we're going to have to do the multiplication first. 3 times 7 is 21. And then 21 minus 9 gets you that 12. If we were to do the parentheses first, 9 minus 5 is 4. And then 4 times 6 is 24. 8 plus 2 times 6. We have to do the multiplication first. So 2 times 6 is 12, plus the 8 gives us 20. 2 times 6 minus 3. All right, let's do the 6 minus 3 first. 6 minus 3 is 3, and 2 times 3 is 6. Oh, we've got two sets of multiplication. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 3 is 12. 20 minus 12, 8. 3 times 2 is 6. Minus 1 times 2 is 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. All right, let's talk camping. How excited are you? You and a friend, you're going on a camping trip. You each buy a backpack that costs $90 and a sleeping bag that costs $60. What is the total cost of the camping equipment? So we're going to figure this out two different ways. Let's scooch it where we need it. So find the cost of one backpack and one sleeping bag, then multiply the result by 2. So if I had the $90 plus the $60, right, this is my cost, but we're going to multiply it by 2 because we're wanting to know our friend as well. So we would do the addition first. 90 plus 60 is 150, and then 2 times 150 will give us $300. So let's see, looking at us try it a different way. Find the cost of 2 backpacks and the cost of 2 sleeping bags, then add the cost. So the 2, I forget which, the backpack was 90. Whoa! So we'll say 2 times the 90 plus 2 times 60, and then we will add those together. 2 times 90 is 180. 2 times 60 is 120. 180 plus 120 also gets us $300. That's cute. So today we're going to talk about the distributive property, which is illustrated up here in the blue. It's when you have a number outside the parentheses, you multiply it by everything inside the parentheses, which on that one wouldn't have made it any easier, but we're going to bring in variables here. And it also works great for some mental math stuff. So let me move out of the way. Let me draw all over myself first, I guess. Hop over to here. Use the distributive property to find 20 times 102 mentally. Now 102 is 100 plus 2. So I'm going to set it up like 20 times 100 plus 2. And this will show our distributive property. When you have a number outside the parentheses and there's multiplication, you multiply it by both terms on the inside. So when I'm doing 20 times 100, 2 times 100 would be 200. So 220 times 100 would be 2,000. Plus 20 times 2 is 40. And 2,000 plus 40 would give us 2,040. So it can make some mental math problems so much easier if you can kind of think of it with the distributive property in mind. So let's try a few more of those. So 53 times 50. Now 53 is 50 plus 3. Is it going to let me write? There we go. Okay. So 50 plus 3 times another 50. Now typically you would see the 50 in the front of the parentheses, but it doesn't matter. But typically you would see it written like this. But again, it doesn't matter. So So if we were to distribute here, 50 times 50, think of 5 times 5, and then we'll throw in the 2 extra zeros. 5 times 5 is 25. We have 2 extra zeros there, so 2,500. Plus 50 times 3, think of 5 times 3, and then put the 0 on there. 5 times 3 is 15, so 50 times 3 is 150. 2,500 plus 150, 2,650. Pretty tricky. 30 times 104. 104 is 100 plus 4. Okay, when we're doing 30 times 100, you can just do the normal digits. 3 times 1 is 3, and then put in the zeros. There's 1, 2, 3 zeros, so 3,000. Plus 30 times 4, 3 times 4 is 12, and then throw in the extra 0 there. 3,000 plus 120 gives us 3,120. Look at us. Look at us mental math in this. We got this. 9 times 199. No, 199. Very close to 200. So let's make this 200 minus 1. Whoa, that was fun. Okay. 9 times 200. 9 times 2 is 18. We have the 2 zeros there, so 1800, the year my father was born. Minus 9 times 1 is 9. Whoa, okay. So if we do 1800 minus 9, it'll be 1791. 1791, the year the first color pencil was invented. Did I make that up? Absolutely. At the Parent Teacher Association, PTA, pancake breakfast, the PTA served 397 people 4 pancakes each. How many pancakes did they serve? Well, we're just going to have to do 397 times 4. Oh, don't worry, it'll show up. Okay, it didn't show up as well as I thought. Oh, 397, come on, Mr. Plant, come on. 4 times 397. Now 397 is 400 minus 3, and those are easier numbers to work with. Now if we distribute, if we're doing 4 times 400, 4 times 4 is 16. Put the zeros behind it, so 1600 minus 4 times 3 is 12. Think of 100. If you subtract 12 from it, if you did 10 off of 100, it'd be 90. And then you take 2 more off, it'd be 88. So we'd have 1588. In 1588, the ocean boiled alive. Your club, you know the club, sold calendars for $7. Club members sold 204 calendars. How much money did they raise? So we have to do $7 times the 204 calendars. It's like we're going to rewrite the 204 as 200 plus 4. 7 times 200 plus 4. We'll distribute like we do. 7 times 200. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 200 would be 1400. Plus 7 times 4, 28. Which would give us 1428. This is how much money that we made. You know the song, so sing along. Using the distributive property, simplify 8 times 15 minus 8 times 5. Now, do you see how they're both being multiplied by 8? Great. So, you're not going to typically see problems like this written from me. Because here's what they want you to do. They want you to say, okay, they're both 8. So the product of 8 times 15 minus 8 times 5 is the same as 8 times 15 minus 5. Now this is a simpler problem for most of us to do because we can do 15 minus 5, that's 10. And then 8 times 10 would give us 80. So just a different way to mess around with some numbers. But if you did 8 times 15, that is 120. 8 times 5 is 40. That will also get you 80. But let's try it the way. Let's try it their way. Okay. All right. So 7 times 21 plus 7 times 9. They both have 7. So then we have addition here. So it'd be 21 plus 9. What is 21 plus 9? Yeah, it's 30. So this will be 7 times 30. 7 times 3 is 21, so 7 times 30 will be 210. Okay, 12 times something minus 12 times something, so we'll say 12 times 52 minus 62. I have $52. I owe my aunt $62. I'm short $10. I know positive times negative will give me a negative answer. And I know when I multiply by 10, I just put a 0 on the back. So 12 times 10 is 101. 16 times 7 minus 11 times 7. They're both with a 7. So we're going to do 16 minus 11. 16 minus 11 is 5. And 7 times 5 gives us 35. Again, you're not typically going to see a lot of problems written that way. And honestly, I would just multiply them separately and then add them or subtract them myself. But, you know, whatever. This is where you're going to see the distributive property the most. Bringing in the variables. And the important thing about the distributive property is you multiply whatever's outside by everything inside. So here, we're going to do negative 5 times 4x. Now, if you're multiplying a number times a variable, just do the numbers and then the variable behind it, okay? So 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 4x would be 20x. That's it. Negative times positive gives you a negative answer, negative 20x. Now here, it says minus 3. We have to treat that like a negative. So if I do negative 5 times negative 3, negative times negative switches to positive. 5 times 3 is 15. Now these are unlike terms. You cannot combine x's with regular numbers when you're adding or subtracting. You can do anything when you're multiplying, but not when you're adding or subtracting. So that would be our final answer. So let's try it again. We're distributing the 7. 7 times 2x. 7 times 2 is 14. So 14x plus 7 times 5 is 35. So I'd like you guys to try out the next 3. So go ahead and pause it. I'm going to go over them right away, but you got to try it to get better at it. So here I go. 2 times 7, 14. 2 times negative 3b would be negative 6d. By the way, this is perfect for now. Typically, you're going to want to write your variables in the front. So if I was doing this later in the year, I would move the negative 6d to the front and then have the positive 14 later. That's eventually what you're going to have to do in future units. So maybe form the habit now. 3 times 6m would be 18m. 3 times positive 1, positive 3. Negative 3 times 5t is negative 15t. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. Sweet. You're ready. You're ready for the show.